You know, it's funny. When you look at this Alphonso Davies to Real Madrid thing, it's like, wow, so much is happening.
It really is, yeah. It's a lot to unpack, for sure.
We've got like articles saying one thing, and then you've got these YouTube videos where everyone's got a theory.
Oh, yeah, and everyone's an expert, right?
Exactly. But then you read like the really in-depth stuff, and it's like, okay, maybe there's more to this.
Yeah, and I think to really understand it, we got to go back to the beginning, like last summer when it seemed...
Yeah, when Bayern was all like, we got this, Davies is staying.
Right. They were so optimistic, talking about the contract renewal, the salary increase, the whole 9 yards.
It felt like classic Bayern, right? Keeping your star players happy.
Exactly. But then things kind of went sideways. Sources like Bild and Kicker started reporting all this tension.
Yeah, like Davies' agent leaving Munich without a deal and all the rumors about his demands.
And those demands, Bild even said, and I quote, "The team of Davies is asking for much more than 20 million euros per year, including a signing-on fee out of the charts."
Wow. That's a lot.
Right. That's not just a little bump in pay, that's a statement.
And knowing Bayern, I feel like they don't love statements like that.
No, not really. They're all about that fiscal discipline. They've got their wage structure, and they don't break it easily.
So do you think Bayern was genuinely surprised by those demands, or were they like low-key expecting it?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? Maybe they misjudged Davies' camp, and this is where it gets interesting.
And about me.
Maybe they leaked those details on purpose, like a power move.
Whoa, to make Davies look bad.
Potentially. Like, look how greedy he is. It's all about controlling the narrative.
That's wild. I never thought about it like that.
And then you've got Real Madrid just sitting back, watching this all play out.
They're like the quiet kid in the corner, but you know they're up to something.
Exactly. And they've reportedly had this verbal agreement with Davies' agent for like a year, outlining a potential move.
So while Bayern's putting on this confident front, Real Madrid's already making moves in the background.
It's like chess, right? They're thinking a few steps ahead.
And then, remember when Bayern pulled their initial offer after Davies had that dip in form?
Oh, yeah, that was a big turning point.
You'd think Real Madrid would jump right in, right?
You would, especially with how they usually operate.
But they went silent.
I know, it's so unlike them. It's like, are they playing it cool, or have they actually lost interest?
Some people are saying they're still in it, confident they can get Davies on their terms.
Maybe they're letting the pressure build on Bayern, letting things get messy.
That's a risky move, though.
It is, but Real Madrid's in a unique spot, right? They're building for the future, no need to rush.
But Davies is a special talent. I mean, he could change their whole team.
For sure, but they're gambling that Bayern will get frustrated, that Davies will want out.
And then, boom, they swoop in and get him on a discount.
It's a bold strategy. You'll see if it pays off.
And then to make things even crazier, you've got Premier League clubs sniffing around.
Oh, yeah, Liverpool, Manchester United. All of a sudden, it's a three-way race.
Talk about a game changer.
It changes everything. Real Madrid can't afford to be passive now.
It's like Davies has options, and now he's got to decide what's most important to him.
Exactly. Is it money, trophies, legacy, or maybe something else entirely? We're about to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he's some rookie chasing a payday. This is a guy who's already won it all.
So what's the motivation then? Is it like trophies, playing style? Maybe he just wants a new challenge.
It's got to be something like that, right? I mean, he's won the Champions League, been to the World Cup. What's next?
I think he's looking for that next level, a team that's building something special, like a dynasty.
And there's that whole thing about Manchester United being the Barcelona of England in his eyes.
What do you think that even means?
Right. Like, is it the attacking football, developing young players, or just the global brand?
It's a good question because it tells us he's thinking long-term, not just about winning right now.
Exactly. It's about the club culture, the vision for the future, and that's where things get tricky for Real Madrid.
How so? I mean, they're Real Madrid, they're always in the conversation.
True, but they're in a weird spot. They're rebuilding, kind of a mix of young guys and veterans.
So maybe it's not the guaranteed path to glory that it used to be?
Exactly, and that's where those Premier League offers become really tempting.
Teams like Liverpool, they're ready to win right now.
And let's not forget the money. Those Premier League clubs have deep pockets.
Plus, it's not just about the salary anymore, right? It's the whole package.
Yeah, signing bonuses, image rights, all that stuff. It's getting crazy.
It's like a whole other competition behind the scenes. Who can offer the most?
And Bayern, they're kind of stuck, right? They're all about being financially responsible.
But can they afford to be too responsible when a player like Davies is on the line?
Especially with how important those signing bonuses have become. It's a huge factor.
It's not just about breaking their wage structure. It's about adapting to how the game's changing.
Exactly. The whole financial landscape is shifting, and Bayern needs to keep up.
It's crazy to think that Davies is at the center of this whole power shift, you know?
It really is. He's got so much leverage. Young players have never had this much power.
And clubs are scrambling to figure out how to deal with it. There's a whole new game. But at the end of the day, it's still about a young guy trying to figure out his life, you know?
Absolutely. Beyond all the money and the tactics, there's a human element to this.
It's easy to get caught up in the numbers, but we can't forget that Davies has dreams, ambitions.
We're not just watching a transfer saga, we're watching a pivotal moment in his career.
And the choices he makes will have ripple effects throughout football. It's pretty wild.
And honestly, we're only seeing a fraction of what's going on.
Right. There are conversations happening behind closed doors, deals being made, things we'll never know about.
So we can analyze all we want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to gut feelings and human decisions.
That's what makes it so unpredictable and honestly so exciting to follow.
Yeah, we can speculate all day long, but ultimately, Davies is the one calling the shots.
And that's the beauty of football, right? The twists, the turns, the drama. It keeps us hooked.
This whole Alphonso Davies thing is a perfect example of that. It's a story that's still unfolding.
And we're all just along for the ride, waiting to see what happens next. And for the listeners, that's what's so cool about all this, you know? It's not just about spreadsheets and contracts. There's real human drama happening here.
Yeah, you can look at all the stats, the money, but sometimes it just comes down to where a player feels at home, you know?
So as we get closer to the end of the transfer window, what are you keeping an eye on? Like, what could give us a hint about Davies' decision?
I think Bayern's Champions League run is huge. They've been killing it in their league, but Europe's a different beast.
Yeah, if they struggle there, maybe Davies starts thinking, do I need a team that's consistently at the top?
Exactly, and then you've got Real Madrid. They're building something interesting, but is it the right fit for Davies?
I mean, Ancelotti's all about defense, right?
Yeah.
Could that clash with Davies' attacking style?
That's a good point. It's not just about going to Real Madrid. It's about the role, the system, the manager's philosophy.
It's like all these pieces have to fit together perfectly.
Right, and if Davies sees a better fit somewhere else, like Liverpool with their high-energy attack, or even Manchester United with their focus on young players, then those options start looking pretty good.
It's like watching a chess game. Every move has consequences.
But then you add in the human element, the fact that Davies is trying to figure out his own path, and it gets even more complex.
You can analyze all you want, but sometimes it just comes down to a feeling, a gut instinct.
And that's why it's impossible to know for sure where he'll end up. We can guess, but ultimately it's his call.
And that's what makes football so great, right? The unpredictability, the drama, the human stories behind it all.
This whole Alphonso Davies saga is a perfect example. We're all just waiting to see how it ends.
It's been a wild ride trying to piece this all together, and who knows what twists are still to come.
One thing's for sure, the story's not over yet, and we'll be here to break it all down for you when it is.
Absolutely. Until then, keep those notifications on, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the biggest stories in football.